We spend our daily lives operating with a baseline level of situational awareness. We lock our doors, avoid dark alleys, and assess strangers with a healthy dose of skepticism. But the psychological premise of a getaway is to dismantle those defenses. We actively try to enter a state of total relaxation. Turning off our internal alarm system leaves the physical threats of a new city exactly where they were. We just no longer see them coming. We trade our natural survival instincts for the illusion of an escape. To understand how predators exploit this vulnerability, we can examine 3 verified case studies. In each instance, a specific psychological lapse, apathy, disorientation, or naive trust, invited strangers into spaces the victims assumed were secure. Vacations condition us to ignore our baseline instincts. By prioritizing comfort over caution, we transform from highly aware citizens into unsuspecting targets. On a family trip to Maine, a rebellious high school senior decided to skip a morning hike to stay inside their massive vacation rental. The house was isolated, deep in the woods. He assumed this geographic remoteness provided a natural layer of protection. The rental's layout was bizarre. The teenager's bedroom shared an adjoining, unlocked door directly with the property owner's quarters. Relying on the isolation, he simply propped a wooden chair against the doorknob as a makeshift barrier. Later that night, while his family was out, the pitch-black house echoed with a loud, sudden crash from the hallway. The teenager crept down the dark hallway, flipped the light switch, and found his chair lock knocked to the ground. Sitting next to it was a strange backpack that did not belong to him. The crash actually triggered a security camera in the adjoining room. When the landlord checked the footage, he saw a tall, bald intruder escaping the teenager's room. The intruder had been rummaging through the house, dropping his bag when startled. This exposes the blind spot of apathy. Geographic isolation is not a substitute for security. Assuming a remote location is safe creates an unchecked vacuum, the exact type of environment opportunists look for. In West Palm Beach, Florida, a family vacation demonstrates how tropical environments normalize lowered inhibitions. Coastal towns often encourage heavy drinking, masking the hazards that exist right outside the resort boundaries. After drinking heavily, a local cousin was physically thrown out of a waterfront bar. Disoriented, he stumbled away from his family and wandered straight into a dense, muddy stretch of thick swampland. 2 family members sprinted into the dark brush after him. When their cell phone flashlights finally caught up to him, his drunken demeanor had vanished. He was crouching in the mud, terrified. Seconds later, a series of unnatural screams erupted from the darkness nearby. The screaming abruptly stopped, leaving the group hiding in silent terror for 15 minutes. When they returned in the daylight, they found a torn denim sleeve on a branch and a clearing where the rest of the jacket lay in the mud. A single set of footprints led away from the struggle and deeper into the brush. Despite the evidence of a violent struggle, the group chose to walk away. They were trespassing and intoxicated the night before, and their fear of being implicated in a crime overrode their obligation to report what they saw. This is the blind spot of disorientation. Intoxication in unfamiliar terrain compromises situational awareness. It leaves you unable to recognize adjacent dangers and impairs your judgment when responding to a threat. In the crowded tourist hub of Ocean City, Maryland, a naturally outgoing traveler struck up a conversation with a man named Henry. Henry claimed he and his friend Sarah were also vacationing next door, and the traveler exchanged phone numbers to meet up later. To maintain politeness, the tourist overlooked Sarah's jarring appearance. Despite the heat, she was covered head to toe in winter layers, leggings, a long-sleeved shirt, and a wide-brimmed hat, all while carrying an empty, oversized tote bag. The couple's behavior quickly escalated. They appeared on the beach at the same time as the tourist, mirroring his schedule. Later, Henry was spotted arguing aggressively with Sarah directly below the victim's condo balcony. By dinner, Henry was obsessively calling the tourist's cell phone. Exasperated, the tourist texted Henry to say they were heading back to their room to sleep. Henry replied with a single message: "Don't go to your room yet." The tourist arrived at their condo moments later to find the door slightly open and their suitcases ransacked. Police confirmed that Henry and Sarah did not exist on any hotel registry, and their phone number was instantly disconnected. They were professional grifters. Among the stolen items was a highly personal printed photograph of the victims. This highlights the blind spot of over-trusting. The expectation that everyone around you is a peer on holiday allows others to weaponize your politeness. They use casual interactions to map your routine and strike when you are most exposed. The Maine intruder, the violence in the swamp, and the Ocean City grifters all capitalized on the same vulnerability. These crimes were successful because the victims momentarily abandoned their everyday caution to embrace the vacation state. Geographical distance from home does not grant immunity from crime. Being in an unfamiliar place positions you as a vulnerable mark. You can change your zip code for the summer, but your survival depends on your instincts. The most dangerous threats don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they are just the people you haven't learned to fear yet.